Hi guys, my name is Kyle August, and I'm going to help you manifest your specific person in the quickest and easiest way possible. Throughout the entire process of manifestation, sometimes we can begin to kind of lose faith in ourselves, right? We've all found ourselves there before, like, can I actually do this? Maybe my situation is different and someone else can do it better, but I'm here to tell you, you 100% can manifest your specific person overnight in the quickest way possible. All we have to do is get into the belief of that. And I'm going to prove it to you in this video. So again, a lot of times during the process, we begin to worry. Maybe our sights begin to kind of look into our external reality and we begin to focus on that. We always do want to focus on our internal state because that is what matters throughout the entire process. But I'm going to give you an example, and you can kind of relate it to something in your life that feels very good, very easy for you, and then it's going to make a lot more sense. But again, think of something in your reality right now that you feel you're very good at. Perhaps it is marathons, or which I mean, I know I just saw marathon, but like running, exercising, video games, maybe a musical instrument, maybe it's kindness, something like that, something that feels very natural and very easy for you. I'm going to use the example for running because it matches the metaphor I want to use the best. So imagine this right now. As a person, if I were to ask you, do you think you could run a marathon at any point in time in the future? You would most likely say, well, yeah, probably, right? You'd be like, well, I could, start running and I would start training for this marathon. Obviously, I can't run a marathon tomorrow, but I'm going to get ready and I'm going to get used to it, and I could definitely run a marathon. I believe every single person on this earth can run a marathon with the proper training. But think about it in this way. So this is a belief that we have, right? We could run a marathon if we tried hard enough or if we put in the work. We know for a fact it is a possibility. It is not without is not without the possibilities of things you could do, right? We know we can do it with the proper training. The same thing with playing an instrument. It may seem very hard or difficult, but maybe you can't play the piano very expert like tomorrow, but you could practice and you could train. But as soon as this thing becomes something we really care about, we think, well, if I didn't do it, if I can't do it tomorrow, I can never ever do it. And this thinking begins to eliminate or destroy our confidence, destroy our self-concept. Because why would we think this way in one realm, like a marathon, like 100%? You could run a marathon, you could play the piano, you could learn a foreign language. But as soon as it comes to our specific person, if we don't see movement with our specific person in the first 10 minutes of doing affirmations, we kind of give up and we're like, oh, I guess it doesn't work. But this thinking, and again, like I mentioned, related to something that you feel is very close to you. Maybe you play the piano, and if I were to ask you, could you ever kind of give a concert in front of 10,000 people, you would say, well, yeah, absolutely. I believe I could. I know it's within me to have that reality become a possibility. But again, as soon as it becomes our specific person, we begin to think differently. We begin to doubt ourselves. But really, it is the same exact thing. Right now, you may not be in the state of being with your specific person, and that is perfectly fine. That's the whole purpose of the manifestation process. And just like, again, if you were to begin training to play the piano, in the first 10 minutes, if you couldn't play the crazy like Moonlight Sonata or something like a very intense musical song, you wouldn't be upset with yourself. You would know, of course, I'm going to get there. I may not be there now, but I'm going to get there. And sometimes this concept, because again, we want to get into that wish fulfilled state. We need to move our state from where we're at into what we want to do. And sometimes we may have some sort of resistance or some sort of limiting belief that is kind of stopping us. But I guarantee you, without a doubt, you can manifest overnight if you really put your mind to it. In the same way, I would say even manifestation is easier than playing the piano, learning a foreign language, running a marathon. because it's all about internal work. Whereas playing the piano is like, okay, we can play, we practice, we need to get our muscles in alignment. But with manifestation, you assume that you mentally take the position that what you desire is already done, and that's that. You don't have to train, you don't have to do this or that. But that is why I usually recommend some sort of manifestation schedule, and I usually give one out to everyone that I work with. When you are persistently following something like affirmations, you're going to be thinking from the state. If you continue with that on a daily basis, it's going to become very natural for you to do. And that's what Neville Goddard talks about. To manifest, you have to have that thing become a natural state for you. And this is that practice or persistence that we always talk about. I talk about in my coaching, I talk about in my 5-day manifestation course. We want to persist in the idea regardless of what is happening around us. And I guarantee you it happens way faster. Definitely we want to pull ourselves out of that trap of feeling like, okay, because some people got results in 24 hours or 12 hours or a week or a month or a couple days, whatever it is, because I didn't get that, I can't have it. That's usually our thought process. That's our toxic thoughts. That's our negative thoughts that begin to work against us. But anytime you think that, think of this example, and again, of the marathon. If you were to say, I'm going to run a marathon, and someone asks you, well, can you run a marathon tomorrow? And you were like, well, no. And they're like, well, then you can never run a marathon. That would be bizarre thinking. Nobody would ever say that to you. So when you begin to doubt yourself with your manifestation, think of this process, but I would say relate it to something that you feel very confident in and that you know you could do no matter what. Think of a hobby or something you're really skilled at. Think of that and then amplify it by 10, by 20. Even make that maybe your New Year's resolution. Let's say you are a musician, you're a pianist, and you want to play a concert. I would say maybe you don't play for anyone right now. Maybe you're just learning piano. Go make your New Year's resolution to play for 10,000 people or 5,000, 1,000, whatever it is. Have it make you say, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm going to do this. And then look at how your internal state is and how you feel towards that goal. You will be you 100% inside of you know for a fact that that is within the realm of possibilities. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. So stop treating your manifestation of your specific person any differently. And again, I would say no matter what, unless you kind of really assume the state very quickly, everyone's probably going to go through this process. So if you're going through this right now, don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up. Just remember this exact metaphor that I'm talking about. Find something you're really skilled at, amplify it, and know that that is completely within the realm of possibilities. And then, like I mentioned too, if it's not something you feel you're skilled at, think about anything else, an instrument, a language. Could you do that if you put your mind to it? Absolutely you can. No matter what your answer is, I know that you can. So don't lose that confidence when it comes to our specific person as well. Sometimes this actually goes along the realm of self-concept as well. If we're not very confident in ourselves and our ability when it comes to relationships or love or whatever it is, we can begin to feel this way and we can begin to doubt ourselves. But in this case, all we have to do is find things, maybe switch your affirmations to self-concept affirmations. And if that still is not feeling good, just focus on, Joseph Murphy talks about an affirmation technique in which we just focus on the emotion itself. So maybe instead of your affirmations of my specific person loves me, you just focus on the word love and all that means to you. That's a way to kind of go around the resistance that you might feel. But when you strike that confidence, remember that everybody is going to be confident in some area of their life. Again, maybe it's instrument, maybe it's video games, maybe it's your charisma, whatever it is. Find that thing that you feel very confident in and realize you can have this confidence in everything in your life. If you can do anything, you can do everything else, right? If someone has actually done something, then you can do it as well. So when you view these success stories, view them with positivity. View them as that person did it, so I can do it. There's a very good example of this that happened with, I don't know the exact details, but it was in the past, I don't know what year, there was a limit in which they thought you couldn't run a mile under 4 minutes. So that's what they thought. That's what everyone was saying. You can't run a mile under 4 minutes. And nobody could. Up until that point, it was impossible to do. But some guy said, I'm going to do this. I will train. He had the higher thinking that we're going to have with our specific person. And he began to train for it. And guess what? He breaks this limit. And if you guys can't guess what I'm about to say next, what do you think happened? Now that this was in the realm of possibilities of other people, because they witnessed someone break that record, a bunch of other people in that same year, within months, began breaking this 4-minute mile record. But think about that for a moment. At that point, they thought that was the absolute limit. Nobody can run faster than 4 miles or 4 minutes, run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Some guy does it, and a bunch of other people do it. If that is not the perfect example for how our mind is 100% limiting us, and it's 100% limiting you with your specific person, and if you just go above and beyond that, just think of it as a possibility and act in accordance with this idea. Imagine your specific person messaging you after this video tomorrow for the New Year's, whatever it is. Think of that possibility. I'm going to place this possibility within your mind right now. Your specific person can absolutely message you after this video, can call you up, can ask you on a date. Who is saying they can't? The only thing is, are you kind of holding that idea in your mind as a 4-minute mile? Do we have to break that record to kind of prove to you your specific person absolutely can message you after this video? There is no doubt about that. But keep that faith. Know that you are only limited by your own thoughts. If you guys had any questions about this topic, just leave them in the comment section below, or you guys can reach out to me at kyleaugustcoaching.com. That's also where I have one-on-one coaching. You can check out my TikTok. It's called Manifestation Man. I'll leave it there as well. But hopefully, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you guys want to continuously get the quickest and easiest ways to manifest your specific person. But like I always say, I'll see you guys next time.